Chapter 23. The Day a Monkey Made Me God. Derek was walking on his own 2 feet again, and to his surprise, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. The soft, dusty ground beneath his boots and the wide road ahead were a welcome change from the tangled mess of the jungle. Tall plants still lined the path on either side, and the occasional glowing orb of energy hovered in the air. But the vegetation was thinning as they pressed forward. The mood among the refugees was lifting. They were finally close to a real city, a place where they could feel safe. Derek wasn't sure how things would play out once they reached Rothmere. He didn't trust a country run by a religious hierarchy any more than he trusted one ruled by criminals. He could at least hope it was a step up from the jungle. A sudden tap on his shoulder made him turn. He found himself face to face with a skull. Tunga lowered his staff and narrowed his eyes. The animal skull atop it still pointed at him. The shaman took a step back. "What happened to your armor, demon?" Derek sighed. "Can you quit calling me that? My name's Derek, and as you can see, I'm as human as you are. Probably more, now that I think about it." He gestured upward. "Nova is in drone mode, flying overhead to scout the area and map the surroundings along with my repair bots." Tunga blinked. "You speak, but I don't understand." Derek exhaled. "Fine. Let's just say I sent it away for a bit, but it'll be back when I need it." The shaman nodded, scratching his chin. "Your magic is strange." "It's not magic," Derek said. "But I guess it might look that way to you. So let's not argue about it." Tunga stared at him, his expression suddenly serious. "I have not thanked you yet for what you did with Cato." "It was nothing." Derek waved him off. "I just can't stand bullies. Hated them in high school, hate them now." Tunga tilted his head. "That is why you build armor? To fight bullies?" Derek blinked. He had never really thought about it that way. "Maybe, in a sense. But right now, there's only one bully I'm worried about. Someone who keeps making my life hell and throwing me into situations I can't stand." "Who is it?" Tunga asked. Before Derek could answer, Isabel cut in. "The universe," she said, shaking her head. Derek turned to her, mouth agape. Was he that predictable already? Maybe it was time to update his material. He looked back at Tunga. "Explain something to me. How was Cato able to ride that magical beast? I thought all creatures contaminated by magic went crazy and turned into monsters." Tunga looked up at the treetops and let out a low grunt. "Animals like people. If aura strong, they control power." "So what? You just find a magical beast that doesn't try to kill you and adopt it?" Tunga shook his head. "No. You find mad magic animal. Instead of killing like they do," he said, nodding toward Isabel. "You tame. You help grow aura. When senses come back, they stay loyal until death. But it's dangerous. For man and beast. Takes long time." Derek nodded slowly. Obviously, this wasn't something you could pull off with a super strong creature. It had to be one you could handle. Still, having a magical ally in a world this violent sounded pretty useful. But that raised another question. And what about the thing you call Spirit of the Beast? How can a gorilla absorb a celestial sphere without going mad? Who could have tamed such a creature? It must have enormous power. Isabel spoke first, her mouth twisting in a grimace of disgust. "That thing is an abomination. Orbisar gifts us with the spheres to grant us both power and challenges to overcome in perfect balance. We are meant to prove ourselves with our bodies and spirits. That giant ape has no place in Orbisar's grand design." "A perfect balance?" Derek shot a glance at little Elira, walking alone in the middle of the road. Her eyes were dull, her face dirty, and her dress torn. He sighed. "There's nothing perfect about this stupid world." Tunga's deep, rough voice remained calm. We not know where great beast came from. Long ago, a celestial sphere fell in jungle. People saw it fall, thought it was end. Thought it would destroy all. Jungle, villages, everything. But when it hit ground, strange beast took it. Absorbed power before power could spread. That's it? Derek asked. A giant ape just showed up and absorbed the power of that sphere? It was not giant before taking power. Became big after. Saved us. Saved jungle. Since then, it watches over us. Speaks to tribes through shamans. Isabel shook her head. I'd say it took control of this jungle and manipulates the minds of its inhabitants to keep them away from Orbisar's light. That's the real demon. Tunga curled his lip in disgust. Your church take you away from nature. You blind. You deaf. Spirit of the beast not speak to you. Better that way, Isabel said. I have no interest in listening to your false prophet. Derek shot her a sideways glance. I can see why it gets on your nerves. You church folks love brainwashing people. Must be unbearable to see someone else doing it better than you, especially when it's just an ape. Isabel frowned at him. You don't even know us, yet you act like you already do. Derek shrugged. I know religions. They always start with someone who truly believed in something, but the moment that person dies, they turn into nothing more than power-hungry organizations. He turned to Tunga. And what about the spirit of the beast? What does it tell you? Tunga let out a low grunt. The beast warns of danger, speaks to those who listen. Once, it saved us from river, told us before water rose, and it protects from those who wish us harm. He fixed Isabel with a hard stare. Isabel rolled her eyes. The church does not wish to harm you. It wants to bring you civilization. Solid houses, running water, walls to protect you from creatures, schools. And churches, Derek said. I bet the first thing it would do is convert the entire population to Orbisar's faith. What's wrong with that? Isabel asked. It's in their best interest to believe in Orbisar and strive to fulfill his will. Or do you think it's better to put your faith in a super-intelligent, magical ape instead? Derek tapped a finger against his lips, pretending to think deeply. Let's see. Should I trust the big ape that saved a village from a flood and an invasion of religious fanatics? Or should I put my faith in a crazy god who keeps dropping ridiculously powerful spheres from the sky, wiping out entire communities, and killing people on a daily basis? Tough call. Isabel shot him a flat look. Derek, Vanda's soft voice spoke in his earpiece. I detect movement around you. Derek glanced around. The treetops swayed oddly, even though there wasn't a breath of wind. The time for talking was over. Stop, he called out. The group froze, eyes locking onto him. A chill ran down his spine. Without Nova, he felt naked and exposed. Why the hell had he thought he'd be safer just because they were on a stupid dirt road? We are not alone, he said through gritted teeth. The refugees glanced around nervously. Only the rustling of leaves and distant animal calls broke the silence. Isabel stepped beside him. I don't see anything. Derek gestured toward the treetops. Looks like we're surrounded. She frowned. Are you sure? Derek nodded. Vanda is never wrong. Isabel tilted her head. And who is Vanda? Before he could answer, Thomas ran up beside her. My lady warden, he said. Should I lead the other refugees behind some bushes while you face this new threat? That won't be necessary. I'm sure it's nothing. The young man gave a short bow and walked away, casting nervous glances at the treetops. Tunga thumped his staff against the ground. The demon is right. Magical creatures are here. They follow us long time, but not attack. Derek looked at Tunga. Had they been following for long? Even Vonda, with her sensors, had only just detected them. The shaman must have some kind of special sense for animals. A white shape darted from a branch and landed silently in front of them. Derek's heart skipped a beat, until he realized it was just a small white monkey with blue streaks in its fur and glowing eyes. It cradled a bundle of fruit in its arms. Derek almost smiled. "Oh, it's you. What are you doing here?" Tunga, Isabel, and the refugees all turned to stare at Derek, their expressions unreadable. The monkey set the fruit on the ground and slowly stepped back. Derek pointed at himself. "It's for me?" "Well, thanks. You didn't have to." The little creature hopped in place, its glowing eyes locked onto him. "Oh, how sweet," Vonda cooed in his ear. "They know you're leaving the jungle, so they're giving you a farewell gift." Derek gave the monkey a slight bow, feeling awkward. "Thanks. More supplies are always welcome." He wasn't sure they could understand him, but hey, it was worth a shot. Chattering calls echoed through the trees as other monkeys joined in, their voices bouncing off the canopy. Derek smiled. It really seemed like he had made some friends. When he turned back to Tunga, the shaman was staring at him, mouth agape. "What?" Derek asked. They... Tunga stammered, pointing at the small monkey. "How did you do that?" Isabel asked, her voice sharp with curiosity. Derek shrugged. "I don't know. Ask them. All I did was kill some oversized talking gorilla. He attacked me first." Tunga stroked his chin. "Never hear this before." He closed his eyes, as if trying to listen to something distant. Derek scratched his head. "I don't know. Maybe since I defeated their leader, they decided to follow me." Tunga opened his eyes again. "No, that one you killed wasn't their chief. It ruled them, but not one of them. You kill it, you free them." Derek raised an eyebrow. "Oh, really? Well, that explains the fruit, I suppose. Can you read these animals' minds?" "I see pictures," Tunga said. "Feelings from their mind. Sometimes I understand things about them, but never see this before. And I'm in jungle since birth." Isabel looked at the fruit on the ground, then at Derek. There are legends about events like this in our scriptures. Legends about the Messiah and how the animals helped him. Derek rolled his eyes. "Oh, come on, they're just monkeys. And for the last time, I'm not a Messiah, and I'm not a demon. Have you noticed how those two ideas completely contradict each other? One of you has to be wrong, right?" The monkey let out a sharp screech and scampered back into the trees. Derek watched it disappear, then crouched and picked up one of the fruits. It was a strange purple oval covered in tiny black spikes. He squeezed it slightly, and dark liquid dripped onto the ground. Who knew if it was actually edible? He'd ask Vonda to check later. He couldn't rule out the possibility that those damn little monkeys were trying to poison him. He looked at the rest of the fruit still on the ground. There were several kinds, each with different colors and shapes. Nestled among the purple, yellow, and orange fruit was a perfectly round, glowing object. He frowned and picked it up. His fingers met the cold touch of metal. As he grabbed the object, realization hit him. It was a power sphere. "What the hell?" Derek muttered. "What is it?" Isabel stepped closer, then gasped. "By Orbisar! Those creatures have given you a fire power sphere." Murmurs of dismay rose from the refugees. Several of them dropped to their knees, hands clasped together in prayer. Thomas ran up beside Isabel. When he saw the sphere, his mouth felt open. "By Orbisar, I can't believe it. He's really the..." He trailed off, staring at Derek. Derek frowned. "What?" Tunga hurried forward, eyes wide as he stared at the sphere in Derek's hand. This not possible. Derek looked at them all. What had gotten into these people now? A monkey handed him a shiny trinket, and suddenly they were treating him like the Pope. This Messiah nonsense had started as a mild annoyance, but now it was getting downright aggravating. Heat rose to his face. "What are you doing?" he snapped. "And stop looking at me like that. And you on your knees, get up now." As if pulled by invisible strings, the small group that had knelt instantly stood, staring at him with wide eyes. And now why the hell were they obeying him like that? "What's wrong with you? Stop acting like idiots. The monkey just gave me a gift, probably because I killed its jerk boss, or because they thought it was some weird fruit they couldn't eat. It's just a monkey, for crying out loud." Isabel took a step toward him and spoke quietly. "Orbisar." Derek groaned. "There it is again. Can't you say anything without dragging in your imaginary god?" The warden cleared her throat, her posture rigid. The scriptures foretold that animals themselves would offer the sacred spheres of Orbisar to the Messiah when he arrived. Derek's heart skipped a beat. He stared at her, unable to say a word. How was that possible? Another coincidence? And if it wasn't, what was it? He couldn't be a Messiah. There was no Orbisar. There was no God. He was sure of it. Right? Isabel stood rigid, staring at him, her face slightly flushed as if battling something within herself. "Stop looking at me like that, Isabel. You said it yourself. I can't be your Messiah. So what is this?" She lowered her gaze and dropped to her knees. Instantly, the other refugees followed, their heads bowing in unison. Crap, just what I needed. The only one still standing was Thomas, staring at him with a strange, unreadable frown. Isabel spoke loudly so that everyone present could hear. "I ask Orbisar for forgiveness for my doubts until now. His design is sometimes difficult for us mortals to understand. But in his wisdom, he foretold signs, and they are unfolding before our very eyes. At this point, I can do nothing but acknowledge that the Kashnar, the Messiah, has finally arrived among us." Derek looked at Tunga. You don't believe this, do you?" He'd give anything for an explanation that didn't involve divine intervention. Tunga shook his head. "I not know their scriptures. I not believe in their God or Messiah. My faith in spirit of the beast, protector of nature's balance. But I say this." He pointed a trembling hand at the sphere. "I never see this before. Animals fear spheres. They stay away. In all my years in jungle, never see animal touch one. Never." Derek stared at the glowing sphere in his hand. It was the first time he held one without Nova. Its weight, the cold metal against his skin, and the slow, pulsing red light felt alive, like a heartbeat. There was no dismissing it. Ignorant villagers or not, the fact that a monkey had delivered a power sphere to him couldn't just be shrugged off. There had to be an explanation for something this strange, one that would require a good zoologist or something like that. The real problem was what this meant for these people. They would never leave him alone now. What was he supposed to do? Run? He couldn't leave the planet without a ship, and he still had to locate the Wardalai ruins and retrieve another Kolar node before getting out of here. Pretend to be their Messiah? How could he, of all the people in the galaxy, lead a religion? The universe was surely laughing at him. Again. Isabel stood up, drew her sword, and pointed it toward the sky. "Kashnar, the Messiah, is among us. Praised be the Kashnar, the incarnate Messiah." The refugees responded in unison. "Praised be the Kashnar." Derek took a step back and looked at all those people. People who had lost their homes, many of their loved ones, staring at him with tearful eyes, filled with hope, maybe even joy, staring at him. Just a damn grave robber. Stop this nonsense immediately. Isabel met his gaze without hesitation. "No," she said. "You may not yet know Orbisar's will or his plans for you, but we do. Praised be the Kashnar." She repeated the words, and the refugees raised their arms, echoing the invocation in unison. Derek shook his head and ran his hands through his hair. He hated this planet so much. No one was listening to him anymore. A flock of colorful parrots burst from the treetops with startled cries, and Derek wished he could fly away with them.